So I want to talk about different techniques. I've got my big tea here with my amazing mug that my partner made me, which I broke the handle of, but it's still a lovely mug. So there's heaps of techniques out there. What I'm just going to talk about today is a technique that I guess I kind of developed, kind of just happened in all honesty, and then I kind of fine-tuned it over the years. So there's other parts to kind of our dreaming and sleeping. There's a psychological component, and there's also just the purely biological component. So when we go to sleep, we kind of enter into kind of more dreamless type sleep, leading into dreaming sleep, and then we kind of come out the other end and we'll kind of cycle in and out. That's sort of the real basics. We can kind of get way more into kind of the exact sequencing of, NREM 1, NREM 2, NREM 3. You don't really need to care about that or know that for this technique to work. But the big thing we kind of want to look at is when that REM cycle happens. So let's say I have an hour and a half cycle, then about an hour in average, I'm going to enter dreams. It will be quicker later on in the night, and it will take longer earlier in the night. So let's say I go to bed for 5 hours and I wake up and I write down my dreams. Then I go back to bed, but I set an alarm to go off in 1 hour. So I fall asleep and I may enter the beginning of a dream, and then my alarm kicks me out. Now, hopefully things going well, I've kicked myself out during the beginning or the early phases of the REM stage. Now, what you want to do once you've kicked yourself out of it, probably on your back's good, so that there's a little bit more sort of sharpness to your attention, but you can lie on your side. But I have my head maybe propped on a pillow and I lie there and I relax and I just set my intention to be aware, go into the dream. And now, if I've timed this right, I'm going to notice a lot of hypnagogic imagery behind my eyes. There's going to be lights flashing, there's going to be colors. This is generally the sign that you've done it at the right time. Now, if you just relax, you will expect to kind of re-enter the dream as a wild, awake-induced lucid dream within about 5 minutes, maybe max of 10 minutes. If 10 minutes has passed and you still haven't entered the dream, you're a little bit tight. So if you're lying on your back, roll onto your side and just kind of let go and fall asleep. Now, as you let go and fall asleep, counting can be useful. So you could count 1, relax, wait, observe if there's a change. 2, count, relax, observe if there's a change, and just move through that, trying to keep a little bit of sharpness as you go down. Do the same thing on your back as well. Now, if you do this technique right, you'll normally enter the dream, as I said, within 5 to 10 minutes, and you normally won't fall asleep, as in lose your awareness of yourself. You will kind of shift into the dream state with complete awareness, which for those that haven't had this experience, it can be a bit of a trip. You kind of go from, I'm lying in bed, my body's dissolving, the outside world becomes the inside world, and then everything kind of inverts, and I'm kind of now standing in a dream. There might be some imagery, and then I reach out and touch it, and now I'm holding it in the dream. So I would say if you want to use this technique, once a week's enough, because you are going to interrupt your sleeping a little bit. Don't use it too much, twice a week maximum. Once a week's perfect, because you kind of don't want to develop, I guess, like weaken the technique through overuse. So I would recommend this one if you're struggling with having a lucid dream or a wild where you enter directly. Give it a go. It's kind of like my go-to. It works every time for me, or at least 90% of the time. Again, as you're going in, have some sort of idea of what you're going to do in the dream to sharpen it. But again, I think it's a great technique. Give it about 5 hours sleep to 6 hours sleep before you attempt it, so you know that you're going to be in a higher stage of the REM cycle.